All right, New Orleans, welcome. Happy remainder of 2025 to all of us. And this has been an inauspicious beginning. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk all about Mr. Jabbar. And I'm all prepared for the show. But in the break before the show, the FBI had an announcement. They have declared that Mr. Jabbar acted alone. Now, how they know that, I don't know. Perhaps it's reassuring to say something like that to visitors who might be in New Orleans today, perhaps going to a football game this afternoon and deciding, is it safe? Should we not go? Well, by saying that he acted alone, one might think, okay, and those NFL representatives who are here in town possibly reconsidering the Super Bowl, maybe by saying he acted alone will reassure them that, oh, nothing could happen during the Super Bowl. Rather than fixing the issues that may have contributed to this on our part. Okay, I am not saying at all that the New Orleans mayor, the New Orleans Police Department, the New Orleans authorities, or the state authorities should take the blame for this Savage's act. I'm not saying that at all. This guy is the same kind of guy that was in Gaza and that went over the border on October 7th, 2023, killing, raping, and then taking hostages people who were not in the military, people who were not fighting against Gaza, people who were enjoying, there was a concert going on, there were other things, people who were enjoying life were taken by savages like Mr. Jabbar. Okay, that's who they are. And there, I am not blaming our authorities. However, what I'm going to do today is spend some time on our show discussing what happened and ways that we might approach this in the future. Because that's the only positive thing you can do about this is, okay, this is what happened. How can we avoid this in the future? Okay. For example, I'll just mention one thing that everyone here in New Orleans is fully aware of, and that is in the French Quarter, where this happened on Bourbon Street, back in 2017, we had this bollard system put up. Its purpose, its sole purpose, was to prevent what happened at 3:45 on New Year's Day, 3:45 in the morning, when Mr. Jabbar drove his ISIS-flagged truck down Bourbon Street. And when he did that, he killed now 15 people. There may be more that pass away. Okay, this bollard system in the middle of the road would stop anything from going through. Well, that's been broken. I haven't been able to put my finger on how long, but it's been a while. And the story, according to what people say, is they're trying to fix it before the Super Bowl. I don't know why. Okay, there wasn't an alternative. There was no alternative. How do I know that? Well, all they had to do was park a police car on the interchange of Bourbon Street and Iberville. Then another police car at the intersection of Bourbon Street and Bienville, and another one on Conti, and this would have mitigated the damages. Now, did Mr. Jabbar happen to know this was the case? I think so. How would he know that? Well, anybody that walked through the quarter, remember, this was at 3:45 a.m. Bourbon Street was packed all day. He would have known that these bollards are down. All he had to do was go over a small wooden barricade at the corner of Bourbon and Canal. The film of him shows that he was headed northbound on Canal. He made a right-hand turn on Bourbon Street, and then Katie barred the door. 3 blocks of unimpeded. The only people that got in his way were the people he ran over and killed. So, issue 1. To anyone who's responsible for the safety of others, don't delay. Why did we delay in replacing the bollards? One thing. Number 2, finding a suitable alternative. Park a police car right there. Police car might have been damaged. Maybe the police didn't like it that pedestrians would go by the car. Maybe people would spit on the car. Maybe people would leave their drinks on the car. I don't know what it was. But certainly, that would have prevented this incident from getting as bad as it did. Okay. And again, these are questions not for the past, but for the future. Okay. Now, what do we have going on today? On our show, there were 3 things that I want to talk about, and we'll take all the calls, and I'm interested in what you have to say. Okay. The 3 things I want to talk about are bigger in the sense that they will take a long time to fix, but we need to fix them. We need to address these issues. Number 1, tourism. When I moved to New Orleans in 1977, after finishing at LSU, I got my first job down here in New Orleans. Boy, was it impressive. The Shell building, the Chevron building, the Amoco building. I could go on and on. All the big oil companies in America and overseas had offices, not just offices, buildings they built in New Orleans to do business. We're right on the Gulf. The oil and gas business was great. I witnessed these oil companies chased out of town by our leaders. What do you mean by that, Jack? That sounds kind of foolish. Chased out of town. Well, I remember each of these companies had tens of thousands of employees, not 15 employees, not 20 employees. They all had lots of employees. There were lots of subcontractors that came along. People in the geophysical business, geologists, people in the maritime field. Remember, we had a building here called the Likes Building. Remember that? Our maritime business was blowing and going, our oil and gas. And then what happened? What happened? Our leaders here in New Orleans decided, hey, with all these employees coming to work here, even though they don't live in Orleans Parish, we can tax them for coming here. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So the companies pay money to have the employees come here, and these are good jobs. These are not bed-making jobs that you get from the tourist industry. These were good jobs. People, educations, people that had families, all of this, and we lost it all. We lost it all from greed. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few moments with the Jack Clegg Show. Thanks for listening. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Huck, an active Christian who loves Louisiana. One of my goals is to bring Louisiana's education from 50th to number 1.
And I'm Dave. I'm not afraid of government bureaucrats. I fear God. Our rights and freedoms come from Him.
This is Liberty or Lockdown. Please join us on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Hey, this is Drew Robinson. I've been an entrepreneur, coach, and dad for over 30 years. I'm not sure what that makes me other than someone with a unique perspective on life. On the Coach Rob Show, we'll look at life's challenges and have some fun, looking through the lens of faith, family, and football. News of the week, sports, movies, and my guests. I hope you'll join me on the Coach Rob Show, Saturdays at noon on WGSO 990 and streaming on demand at WGSO.com.
Looking to customize or enhance your firearm? At NOLA Cerakote, we've got you covered. Our expert team offers everything from Cerakote coatings and custom engravings to repairs and modifications, giving your firearm a unique personal touch. With high-quality workmanship and unmatched customer service, we're here to bring your vision to life. Whether it's a one-of-a-kind finish or a custom build, you can count on NOLA Cerakote to deliver. Visit us at 1508 Edwards Avenue, Unit CC in Harahan. Visit our website at NOLACerakote.com or call us at 504-875-9933 to explore our services and start your customization journey today.
Hi, this is Rusty from the Olive Branch Cafe. We use only the freshest ingredients, and we prepare everything from scratch 7 days a week. West Bank born, West Bank raised, West Bank proud. The Olive Branch Cafe, Marrero and Algiers.
Hey, it's Christian. One of my favorite places to eat, Randazzo's Family Restaurant and Catering, 4462 Wabash Street in Metairie. Check out the menu, eatrandazzos.com. Randazzo's isn't just a lunch and dinner spot. On the weekends, breakfast is outstanding. Their omelets are amazing. I love their huge, generous proportions. Give them a call, 504-456-9069. That's 504-456-9069. Randazzo's Restaurant and Catering. EatRandazzos.com. That's EatRandazzos.com.
Hey, New Orleans, the wait is over. That who dat who wouldn't quit? Well, it's me, the King Dude, Mike Church, back on the radio airwaves that you know and love after 27 years of being away. I've only been back for a few weeks, but I've already spent more time in New Orleans than Mayor LaToya Barcelona. Or is that Mayor she's full of Bologna? Whatever. And remember that your mama was pro-life, darling, back when men were men and women didn't pretend to be men who run for Congress. Join me weekday mornings at 6. What have you got to lose that the Democrat Party hasn't already tried to steal from you?
All right. Welcome back, New Orleans. This is segment 2. We're going to get to callers in a little bit, but I wanted to mention another, I think, intriguing factor here. Okay, we had Christopher Rea, who was an acting deputy director of the FBI, tell us that Jabbar acted alone. He didn't say how he knew this, but let me say this. That might be reassuring to some people. I don't buy it. If you know that for sure, explain to us how you know that for sure. I mean, all day yesterday and all morning this morning, they're talking about the IEDs that were planted. I saw Raymond Arroyo from New Orleans, who assists Laura Ingraham on her show, saying that he saw the videos where people were planting these things in the area of St. Louis Cathedral, which is a very common approach of the Muslim groups that are attacking Christians, not only here, but all over the world. Okay, so I don't get that. But I wanted to get to one story that I read today, which I found fascinating. If this doesn't say and tell you the whole story, okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on blasting Palestinians or pro-Palestinians or so forth. And that's another show. This is about Jabbar, okay? Now, Newsweek had a story this morning, and you can read it online, where they went to Jabbar's mosque in Houston, right? And they asked the mosque if they could talk to members of the congregation and find out if anybody knew Jabbar, if they knew anything about him. The mosque issued a statement urging the congregation not to respond to media inquiries. So if you were a fellow Muslim, member of the mosque that Jabbar was, your mosque authorities are telling you, do not talk to the media. Why would that be? I mean, really, why would that be? Patty made a really good point a while ago. If the Catholic Church had told its parishioners and so forth in the midst of the huge scandal that it had decades ago that's still going on with lawsuits and class actions, but if they'd have said, don't talk to the media, what would everyone have thought? They know they're guilty. This has another aspect to it. Not only did the mosque tell its congregation not to talk to the media, but they gave them instructions. They instructed them to refer anybody who knows anything about Jabbar, okay? They're to contact the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, C-A-I-R, Council on American Islamic Relations. The Council on American Islamic Relations issued a written statement. This says, quote, anyone with any potentially relevant information should come forward immediately, and our attorneys stand ready to help arrange and facilitate communication with relevant law enforcement agencies. So, yes, if you know anything, talk to our lawyers first, and then they'll know whether or not you should talk to the FBI. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Now, if you got something to hide, this is a good way to hide it. Okay? Any witnesses that might know something that's harmful, first, have them talk to your lawyers. And then your lawyers will decide, giving a non-lawyer advice, well, I wouldn't really talk to the FBI. Not about this guy or this thing or this money or whatever happens to be the facts that they might know. So this is an article in Newsweek. You can Google it this morning about the mosque in Houston that Mr. Jabbar attended. A very, very, very relevant thing. Now, of course, now the FBI has declared he acted alone. So I'm sure the media, they'll go away. They won't follow up on it. Not really. They just witnessed an election. They now have bigger obligations than they had under the Biden administration. It's not just hiding things. They might have to be acting like journalists. That would be nice. Okay, let's get to callers. We have a Clyde on the line, a new caller for me, but I understand Clyde calls quite a bit. Clyde, this is Jack Clegg. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jack. I used to work in a quarter, and I can tell you a few things. It was bragging about having so many police in the French Quarter, 300.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. When the truck came around that car and started speeding down the street, each corner has about 10 police officers.
Yeah.
So he got 4 blocks before he ran into this crane.
Yes.
I mean, and all these cops, nobody's shooting at him, and they see him running over people. You got to react to that kind of stuff. It seems like they didn't do anything he ran into the crane. It's like
that's correct.
Kind of shocking.
And if he hadn't hit the crane, one, it could have been a lot more fatalities. That's one
exactly.
thing. Okay.
Exactly.
2, he may have made a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. They might not have found him. Apparently, you raise again 300 police officers. Okay. Now, I'm sure they're positioned all around the French Quarter. Okay. North, south, east, and west. Okay. We got them all. But Bourbon Street, the most popular, where most people are at 3:45 in the morning. There's a couple stragglers on Decatur and Royal. But all of them and the bars that are open are on Bourbon. That's where the police are. Your point is a great one, Clyde.
If you go to court, I'm sure everybody did. When you go in any of these parades, on every corner, there's like 10 police officers all milling around every corner.
Yeah.
And so this guy got 4 blocks with nobody even shooting at him or doing anything to him. Something's going on. Why they teaching these people not to react? You're supposed to react to these kind of situations. We just had that in Europe. Don't we learn anything?
Well, the German event you're talking about, and you know what's really funny? I have not heard anyone talk about the other event before Germany. Was it 2 winters ago? 2 Christmases ago? When some knucklehead up in Waukesha, Wisconsin, ran over. Remember that there was a student band and it was a Christmas show, and this guy ran over all those folks. So we don't have to go as far back as we don't have to go to Germany. Even in this country, there are people. Why in the world would they not have police cars parked on Iberville, Bienville, and Conti? Your dog even knows the answer.
He just said yes. You're right.
He says right. Well, anyway, thanks for calling, Clyde. Appreciate it.
All right.
And our listeners appreciate your knowledge of the quarter. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. And of course, I mean, he makes great sense. There were 300 police officers in the quarter. I'm just going to take a wild guess. 25 of them on Bourbon Street, maybe more. Now, I'm not going to be critical of our police officers. Two of them went to the hospital. So I'm not, but the planning and the strategy, and one thing about police officers in New Orleans, I do say this. They got one of the toughest jobs in the world. How would you like to be a police officer during Mardi Gras? How would you like to do that? People way too publicly intoxicated to be free, but our police officers have always walked this fine line between tolerance and obeying the law. And they have to and in the last several years, I mean, we have people carrying guns, we have gangs shooting at each other. This happens occasionally. So they do a hard job, and they're up to tremendous risk. But the question is their training. I'm going to get to another story after the break about the warning that was out there before the warning that was out last Sunday. Okay, this is Jack Clegg Show. We're going to take a break in a moment. We'll get to callers and a few more topics after the break.
Join me, J.C. Smith, on Stay Safe NOLA, Mondays at 5 p.m. as I discuss crime and how to stay safe in the Crescent City. Stay Safe NOLA, only on WGSO 990 AM.
Hey everybody, this is Mike from the Holy and Patriotic Jambalaya Show. If you need to convert your existing bathtub into a step-in shower, call my friends at A New Beginning Refinishing. They can repair and refinish any type of bathtub or shower, no matter the size of the repair. A New Beginning Refinishing has been using a new high-gloss casting porcelain coating, guaranteed to never peel. They also offer a unique service called the Tup Cut, which is a fraction of the cost of replacement, and adding a grab bar installation and a slip-resistant surface helps to improve accessibility, reduce accidents, and helps people remain in their home as long as possible. Call A New Beginning Refinishing, LLC for a free estimate at 985-279-5103 or visit their website at www.anewbeginningrefinishing.com. Or you can visit their showroom in Hollycrest Plaza at 600 North Highway 190, Suite 2 in Covington. That's A New Beginning Refinishing, LLC at 985-279-5103.
Hi, everybody. This is Jackie Gumbo. I'm inviting you to join me every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Uncle Jackie's Gumbo, heard only on WGSO 990 AM or WGSO.com.
Big Easy Pet Shop and Rescue is a nonprofit volunteer-run rescue. We provide adoption services and care for homeless animals across the New Orleans metro area. We also offer pet supplies and grooming services at our downtown and Marigny locations. The shops are located at 839 Spain Street and 513 Dumaine Street and are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays and noon to 6 on Saturdays, noon to 5 on Sundays. We can be found on the web at BigEasyPetShop.com. Support local animals in need by shopping and adopting with Big Easy Animal Rescue.
Join me, Mitch Gibbs, every Monday and Friday at 4 p.m. live at Premier Nissan at 6636 Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Canada.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. At this hour, federal, state, and local officials are providing an update on the investigation into the New Year's Day morning terrorist attack on Bourbon Street that killed at least 15 people and left more than 30 injured. The FBI says 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar drove at a high rate of speed, killing innocent people who are celebrating the New Year's holiday. Authorities believe Jabbar did not act alone. New Orleans Congressman Troy Carter has a message for Jabbar's accomplices.
For those who may have played a role in this horrific act of cowardice, we will find you. We will bring you to justice.
Bourbon Street is still closed. They will play a college football playoff game a mile and a half away in the Superdome as Notre Dame will face Georgia. Governor Landry will be there.
That is proof, believe you me, that facility in this city is safer today than it was yesterday.
Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Louisiana Radio Network.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited.
They do not give up until you pay.
They put a lien on my house.
How about you? Do you owe back taxes? Call Tax Solutions now and get some help. For a limited time, the IRS offers a tax forgiveness program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Our team can make it easier for you to pay back taxes, avoid tax liens, and get a fresh start. Sometimes you just need a second chance.
I call Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
At Tax Solutions Now, our affiliates are all accredited by the Better Business Bureau and members of the National Association of Tax Professionals.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now. Call 800-319-6697. 800-319-6697. 800-319-6697.
Hey, Mimi, we love Wednesdays, but we're moving to a new time.
Listen to He Said, She Said, Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
As usual, we'll be discussing and debating the hot topics.
And taking your phone calls.
You can find out who's right. Of course, that's me.
No, wait, Jeff, I'm never wrong. Remember, happy wife, happy life.
So we'll have a lot to talk about on He Said, She Said.
Listen to the Crew of Crew Air, Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
Right here on WGSO.
Tired of placing multiple calls to multiple vendors and getting the runaround? Turn to one resource who can get it done. Sir Speedy. We provide a wide spectrum of print, signs, and marketing services, all backed by more than 5 decades of experience. So when you need that new brochure, direct marketing campaign, or signage to promote your brand, give us a call at 504-586-9812 or visit us online at sirspeedyneworleans.com. Everything you need, one resource, Sir Speedy.
Hi, this is Susan Berniker bringing you a new show, Health Connections, every Wednesday afternoon at 5 p.m. when we explore health from doctors, researchers, scientists, naturopaths, pharmacists, authors, fitness, and more. You'll be able to call in and ask your own health questions. So join me, Susan Berniker, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. right here on WGSO 990 AM with Health Connections.
FBI, open up!
Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible.
Tyranny in the USA.
We warned about this years ago.
I'm Tom Coates.
I'm Michelle Godin.
We're Baldy and the
Blonde. Wednesdays at 4 on WGSO. Follow us on X at Baldy Blonde.
That's not America.
All right, New Orleans, welcome back to the third segment of the Jack Clegg Show on WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com, and YouTube. I think I pressed the right buttons today. Hello, everyone. How do you like this sweater vest? Patty loves it. I like it. It's comfortable. My sister Jill, the dementia consultant from Indiana, got me this for Christmas, and thank you again, Jill. I love it. Very warm. Okay. I don't like to be critical without having some construction, being constructively critical. Okay. In the future, and by the future, I mean it should have been today. It should be at the Super Bowl. It should be this way at Mardi Gras. It should be this way whenever we have a major event that's going to be in the French Quarter, other areas. We need to stop traffic, vehicular traffic on Canal Street and the others. I used to live in the warehouse district, And every year Essence Fest would come. And it was great. Lots of people were on. It was terrific. But there were knuckleheads in their cars driving fast and you know, there were muscle cars and they were trying to impress people. That's fine. But you need to avoid this. We not learned that one of the ways in America to cause multiple fatalities is by using a vehicle to run over people that are assembled for a parade or a party or whatever. We know this. So don't allow the cars nearby. Now, that might be too hard for tourists who don't know their way around and wonder. Well, then let taxis be the only vehicles. Okay? I'm not saying Uber. I'm saying taxis for my friends at United Cab. Put them back to work. Okay. We have some other callers. We'll get to them right now. Matthew was up. Matthew, thanks for being patient and holding on so long.
You're welcome. So you had brought up earlier the difference in New Orleans between 77 and then subsequently.
Yes.
Having studied to be in the oil industry at that time, going to Delgado, got my degree in associate petroleum engineering. And
so you witnessed everything I was talking about.
And you got the cause wrong.
Oh, okay. Tell me how I'm wrong. That's good.
One of the things supporting the oil industry at that time was something that the Carter administration put in place called the windfall profits tax.
Got it.
And basically it meant that a company that had drilled an old legacy well, which we still had a few operating in the United States, or imported their oil from overseas at a lower cost than what could be produced from a new well here in the United States, was going to pay what was called the windfall profit. It was a tariff in essence.
Got it.
And it was to encourage the drilling of new wells. Probably one of the more sensible things that Ronald Reagan did. I mean, that Jimmy Carter did.
Carter, right.
But Reagan's cabinet was full of people who were steeped in the school of Austrian economics. And they believed that tariffs are evil. They're possibly more evil than, genocide or any other thing. Tariffs are just the ultimate evil.
Okay. What effect did that have? What effect did that have on the oil business being centered in New Orleans, as opposed to in Houston or other places where these?
I'll get to the Houston part later.
Okay, go ahead. How did it affect New Orleans?
Reagan basically did away with the windfall profits tax, which caused massive layoffs in the New Orleans area. A lot of the blue-collar workers for the oil industry were coming from New Orleans. They were coming from New Orleans East and Marrero. These brand new subdivisions that had just sprung up to support this burgeoning workforce. Well, all those people lost their jobs. You lose your job. What does that mean that due to your ability to pay your mortgage?
Okay. I'm still trying to. I'm trying to see how moving the industry from New Orleans to another city was caused by anything other than New Orleans making it more expensive for them to be here.
The industry per se didn't move to another city. The headquarters moved to another city.
Right.
And that's all the headquarter types. Not all of them moved out of the state. Chevron famously or infamously, how you look at it, moved to the North Shore.
Right.
They did so because, frankly, they didn't have any workers on the South Shore anymore, because all of their the people that were remaining were primarily upper management and senior management types and petroleum engineers and reservoir engineers.
Okay,
Those
so
people all lived on the North Shore anyway.
My point was we have become a one-horse town, and that's tourism.
And that was because Sidney Bartholomew, in his desperation to do something to stem the bleeding, leaned heavily into the tourism thing, hoping that the World's Fair would provide a stimulus to keep people from coming back.
Well,
that didn't work.
Didn't work. Okay. And so today, decades later, 3 decades later or more, we are still living this facade that we're better off with the tourist industry than real industry. And even though our mayor has been traveling the world, the excuse is to develop business for New Orleans, which is...
I thought it was to fight climate change.
Yeah, well, that's where she's going to. She's going to all these meetings saying you can fight climate change from New Orleans better than most. And it's...
I have to ask a question.
Yes.
When she goes to fight climate change, does she put on the Mexican wrestling mask and jump in the ring to fight it? And can you see that on pay-per-view? Maybe that's the plan.
I was asked to do the pay-per-view for it, so you'll just pay attention, and we'll get one of those wrestling matches around. I was experienced in wrestling, so I'll do the pay-per-view. Anyway, your point is a great one. I still believe that the point I'm making is we did have multiple industries at one time, and we did the right thing. Now we only have tourism, and we need to diversify. Thanks for calling, Matthew.
Ciao.
All right. And do we have time to get to our next caller before the break? We have 2 minutes. Let's get Rusty on, and we'll make him hold through the break. Rusty, how are you today? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Jack. Jack, let me put my radio low. It's going to make echoes if I don't.
That's right. We don't want echoes because then you'll sound more powerful than I am.
We don't want echoes. Not early in the year. We don't want echoes. Listen, Jack, I can't believe you guys are discussing what you're discussing.
Okay.
15 people have been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Not about gasoline. It's about allowing people in this country that should never be here, whose religion, Sharia law, half the mosques in this country. The show that Jeff had on this morning at 8 o'clock was speaking to this issue. And another part of this discussion I don't understand is blowing my mind. This could happen not only on Bourbon Street, but any street in America. This is not about how many barricades you put out there. If people have ill will, like some of these people's beliefs that say if you're not of their religion, you die, it can happen on any street. Any street. It's not about Bourbon Street. The Bourbon Street thing is about a concern about money. They're concerned about money right now. The Sugar Bowl, Super Bowl coming up, obviously Mardi Gras.
Sure.
That's what they're concerned with. Then, the amount of lives that they're concerned with. I mean, when John Kennedy died, there was a big argument about whether they should have the playoffs after he was assassinated. These people, all they want to do is postpone this for a day. So
Speaking of postponing, we have to postpone the rest of your comments until a break. We got to take a break.
They're not memorializing these people's death.
Hold on.
This is ridiculous. Any street in America, not just Bourbon Street or some street, big street in America, can happen on any street because there are people out there they let in this country who
Rusty,
don't have respect for us.
Hold on. We got to take a break. Just hold on, and we'll let you continue after the break.
Hi, I'm Huck.
And this is Dave.
Please join us on Liberty or Lockdown on Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Be there.
Hi there, everybody. This is Jackie Gumbo inviting you to join me each and every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. for Uncle Jackie's Gumbo. A little bit of this and a whole lot of that each and every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. only on WGSO 990 AM New Orleans or WGSO.com. Bring your gumbo, baby. We're going to have us a blast.
Chef Jamie Gwen here. Tune in for delicious conversation and let me feed your soul every Sunday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent
Hello,
City.
this is David Jeremiah. Join me each weekday morning at 4:30 or 5:30 a.m. for Turning Point on the community voice of the Crescent City, WGSO.
What's up, y'all? I'm Derek, Mr. Smoker Freeman. Do yourself a favor. Tune in to the Only Good Vibes News Network, Thursdays at 4 p.m. on WGSO AM 990 or streaming on all your devices at www.wgso.com. Join Whistle and Jay as they bring you good news and good vibes about our community. Just 1 hour a week. Come practice a positive vibe.
Broadcasting from deep within the Louisiana Purchase, beneath spacious skies, overlooking the fruited plain, and smack dab in the land of the free. The American Ground Radio program with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr, where freedom grows. Listen each weeknight from 7 to 9 p.m. with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr here on WGSO 990 AM.
Real Talk with Revolution is back. This is Effie, and I've brought along some new friends.
Nikki D here. We'll be talking real estate, real life, and everything in between.
Please join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on WGSO 990 AM and streaming live at WGSO.com.
Hi, this is Kate Delaney from America Tonight. The show kicks on at midnight, and I'm loving the overwhelming support in New Orleans. What a group of fantastic listeners here on WGSO 990 AM. Join me every morning to catch up on what I call the buzz in your backyard and mine. You'll hear some of the most interesting people on the planet from the world of business, politics, sports, and, well, just intriguing people with a story to tell. If you're around, give us a call. Don't worry, I'll spit out the number plenty of times on the air. Let's agree to meet at midnight right here on WGSO 990 AM in New Orleans.
All right, New Orleans. Welcome back to the fourth segment of the Jack Clegg Show. One of our premier callers is on the line, and Rusty, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We had to take a break.
I understand that fully.
There were two points I think that you made that I wanted to discuss. Number one, any street in America, and number two, that this is an immigration issue. I think I'm overgeneralizing what you said, and it's more. Number one is to any street in America. If you're a terrorist and if you want to do damage to New Orleans, you hit Bourbon Street. You don't hit Veterans Highway. Okay? You don't. There aren't people walking on Veterans Highway. They're cars. That's not what you're going to do. The popular method of killing as many people as possible, as quick as possible, is running them over in cars. It happens everywhere. Okay, so should we expect that we're going to have lots of people on Bourbon Street? And the answer is yes. You're at 3:30 in the morning on New Year's Day, okay, there are going to be a lot more people on Bourbon Street than there are on City Park Avenue, or on what used to be Robert E. Lee, or on Magazine Street. So I understand what you're saying. No street is immune, but I think the authorities focusing on the area where most people will be is not unreasonable.
I'm not saying it's unreasonable, Jack, to focus on an area where, like malls or whatever, and so on. But what I'm saying that we're in denial about the problem. It's closer to the roots.
Oh.
And it's not about. You could find crowds. You're saying, well, this is a particular kind of crowd, a Bourbon Street crowd, but you can find thousands of crowds across the United States which have a lot of people getting off of work in Manhattan or Chicago, your hometown. You can find thousands of them. The problem is that we're in denial of what's causing it, and it's not going to stop.
Well,
it's not going to be just put up a barricade and everything is going to be okay. That, to me, that's an illusion. That we're deluding ourselves because we don't want to deal with the issue. The guy that was on Jeff Jarrett's show at 8 was trying to focus on the Sharia and the mosque in the United States, even ones in this area, not to speak of Houston, where the guy came from. But he was trying to focus that, and Jeff kept focusing on, well, what about the barricades? And I'm thinking, this man wasn't from another state, was not calling up about our barricade.
Well,
He's calling up to tell us what's the cause problem of why this is going to continue to happen.
Right. Okay. Two things on it, and I'm 100% with you here, and that is, okay, there is a sizable population in the world, a sizable. It's not some small tribe of people in a remote area. This is a sizable group that hate our guts. They hate us. They want us dead. Let me read you something. This actually was, I read this on Sunday before all this happened. It was a website, and it was reported. I'm going to quote you from this post. Oh, monotheists in Europe, America, Russia, and other lands of the Crusaders. We're the Crusaders. We're the bad guys. Okay?
Right.
We know that you are eager to join your brothers in the land of jihad, but the paths have been cut off for you. The Crusaders are among you. Their security has been prolonged, and your brothers have been killed. The time has come to take out the swords from their sheaths and hamstring the horses in their places that Allah loves and is pleased with. And it goes on and on and on about New Year's Day is the day that they want to attack us. Okay.
Okay.
You're 100% right that we are not focusing on the fact that these people hate us. They hate us. And there's a lot of them. It's difficult. Not every Middle Easterner hates the West. We know that. But many do. They teach young people in some of their schools this kind of an approach. And those are the things that we need to be concerned about. However, with that being said, and not knowing how you can somehow satiate their hunger for death. I mean, these guys who walked across the Gaza line and went into Israel had a thirst for this. They're savages, okay? And there's nothing else you cannot. And those Americans, I'll give you a quick story. I ride my bike down here from where I live in Mid-City, and I take the Lafitte Greenway. You know what that is, right?
No, I'm not quite sure.
It's a bike path, a walking path, and it's from all the way from City Park Avenue all the way to downtown New Orleans. Okay? It's really nice. It's great. Very little graffiti. Very little. However, there was about, as of a week ago, as of Friday, there was graffiti which was pro-Palestinian. Okay? This morning, on Thursday morning, I'm riding down the same path. Black paint had been put over it, hiding all those words. But new graffiti said, "Free Palestine, free our brothers from the river to the sea." This took place when what happened in New Orleans did. So there are people in our country who are convinced that the only way to do it is to destroy the Israeli, the Jewish, and the American West. They believe it. They believe it. Now, I don't know the litmus test that we can use to discern them from others. Now, your point about immigrants is true. However, this guy was a U.S. citizen. He was born and raised in the United States. He was in the Army for 10 years. He's working currently. Well, not anymore. He's not working. He worked up until the time he was killed for Ernst & Young, one of America's premier accounting firms. So it's not just the immigrants. It's we need to get a strategy to make their ideas, these ideas of hatred, be unacceptable to humans.
But Jack, that religion has been taught for 1,500 years. It's installed in their ancestry. It's installed, and we don't want to recognize that. We want to live in this age of Aquarius thing, and there's Nirvana, and we want to see everybody thinking in harmony. Where there are many people who's because of their backgrounds. And I'll be very surprised if this guy's background is not of a Muslim affiliated, inspired, sympathetic thing. I've yet to hear that, but I'm pretty sure. I thought he was a Muslim when I first saw him, but until we recognize there are people with different ideas and beliefs, and those beliefs, because of their background, to cause you and I to die, and we don't want to even discuss it openly.
Right.
We don't even want to bring this up.
Well, and we heard today, I was really upset hearing from the assistant director of the FBI saying, well, we know he acted alone. How in the world? How in the world? And without explaining why. But yet I read to you earlier in the show what the statement from his mosque said. Do not, to the congregation of the mosque gave a statement saying, do not reply to any media inquiries. And if you know anything, contact the Council on American Muslim Relations. Okay. And their lawyers will contact you and help you facilitate any communication with law enforcement. So,
Jack, if I can throw one more thing out, there's time. Half the mosques, a couple years ago, they took a poll and they said half the mosques said they'd rather live under Sharia law rather than American democracy.
Sure. That doesn't
we have to look at that. We have to. And what you just read there tells me they don't want to cooperate.
Thanks for the call. Hopefully the next several days will be better. I'll listen to you next Tuesday. Give me a call.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
this is the Jack Clegg Show, signing off. Have a good weekend.
Hey folks, it's Jeff Cruier. I've been with WGSO for 17 years as host and now president and general manager. WGSO is a community-based radio station, a nonprofit, locally operated. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasizing local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, then we have some prime spots available for you. Take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Hi, this is Rusty, owner of the Olive Branch Cafe. I'm excited about my new radio show, The Best Bank Hour. Every Tuesday at 4, we'll be discussing people, places, events, and issues, all things Best Bank, every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Brought to you by the Olive Branch Cafe with locations in Marrero and Algiers. So join me every Tuesday at 4 p.m. for the Best Bank Hour, right here on WGSO 990.
I'm pet trendologist Charlotte Reed. Listen to the Pet Buzz airing every Saturday at 6 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City.
Hey, this is BJ Russ. Make sure you join me every Saturday night for the Something to Say radio show right here on WGSO 990 AM. We'll be on from 7 to 8 p.m. We'll talk sports, music, movies.